Okay, we're started here. It is what is it? 24th, I think it is today or something. I should use to look on the computer here. Calendar up here. It's actually 24. It's only a day and a month ahead. There's the menorah. Okay. 7 candles on a menorah. Okay. My wife went to clean a house today with another Filipino lady. They went to the Hebrew group yesterday. Have some differences. Yeah, she actually listened to this while I had this on this morning. And I'm going to make a YouTube on this now. Okay. Why? The guy was commenting that out-of-body stuff. The Orthodox Jews still have this Canaanite, Zechariah 14:21. Canaanite.
Where the idea of hell came from. If you'd like to read the script of this study, there's a link in the description that you can click on and read later, and it'll have all the scripture references used in this study. Now, let me start by saying there will be judgment on Judgment Day, but the judgment will be fair and it'll be just. And if anyone needs to fear the punishment, it is us Christians who know the Father's will and do not keep it. In Luke 12 we're told, and the slave who knows his father's will and did not get ready or act in according with his will receive many lashes.
Nice scenic little British accent. YouTube doesn't say where he's from.
Will receive few. See, only Christians
I'm from Calgary, Alberta. My phone number is 403-830-4124. Yeah, I put it right up there. Oh, I was a little concerned I'd be swamped with calls. No, I haven't been. Okay. Trying to contact people? Oh, you can't even find out where they're hardly from. We have some nice mountain views out here, like this here. Okay. So I don't know where this view is from. Could be from BC, Canada.
In the days when Yeshua was on earth, there was no health service or even doctors, but there was a lot of disease.
This does sound a little bit Seventh-day Adventist, but not totally. Okay. Mentioned a few people like John MacArthur. That had a little drink there. That didn't taste so great.
Sexually transmitted diseases like gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, and chlamydia. You can find them in Leviticus.
Yeah.
These sick and diseased people were feared, separated, and considered cursed by their God.
How come he resurrected Lazarus on the 4th day? This is a little bit of the difference. He has this view that it only began around the time of Constantine with Romanism. No, Romanism, I believe, got these Canaanite ideas of out-of-body stuff from before the Hebrews were enslaved. Maybe this is a little confusing with this thing talking and me talking at the same time.
Filthy, disease-cursed, wicked people was a place called Gehenna.
Gehenna
was a place outside the city in the valley of Hemon, where the concept and idea of hell came from. Gehenna was a place where all the dead, diseased bodies, along with the animal sacrifices and all the rubbish from the city, was dumped. And
okay. They have a garbage dump at the Kindred Valley too. They just throw the stuff over the wall at Bethany. Okay. Bethany is a poor Palestinian community yet. That's where Martha's house was. How come Jesus ascended from Bethany? Yeah. From the edge of the Mount Olives. More precisely, from Bethany. Yet, they want to say that Lazarus, of course Lazarus died again. No, you will not find that in the Bible. And he resurrected Lazarus on the 4th day. Why? He put it right in the Orthodox faces. I am the resurrection and the life. Okay, this is Canaanite. This YouTube is more implying it only began during Constantine. No, I disagree with that. But he's got some good stuff on it. Okay, we'll continue here. There's Mark Blitz. I don't know what his views are on it. He just got back from Israel again. I tried to contact his. He made reference now to more than possibility of more than one rapture. Well, why? I think it was 5 years ago, I tried to call his office. When we moved into this little suite here, probably going to have to move out of here now. Rapture is Latin. Yeah, an event catching up on each side of the center. Enoch was caught up. Elijah was caught up. Okay? To the third heaven. Okay? They deny the power. That's psychology. They deny the power.
Men kept a blazing fire burning 24 hours a day and stoked the fire constantly to kill all the flies and maggots and keep the disease from consuming the people of the city. So that's where the
Aaron burnt smoke to fumigate the camp of Israel. There was a plague. They fumigated the camp.
Now, if you go on a holiday to Jerusalem, there is a guided tour of Gehenna, and there they'll answer all your questions.
I didn't get to see Gehenna.
Sheol just means the grave.
The grave.
The Bible teaches that when you die, you simply go to the grave. Another New Testament word translated as hell is Hades, and that simply means the place of the departed, just like the grave in Sheol. Hell is a made-up word, and it's not found in any of the thousands of Bible manuscripts from the earliest to the latest versions. Different Hebrew and Greek words were simply translated
nice scenery on this one, huh?
in most English Bibles.
Well,
many modern versions, such as the New International Version,
nice scenery sometimes, but I actually prefer when they have a whiteboard and you can actually see. Let's skip ahead a little bit here.
Was Gehenna.
I don't know, it just shows nice scenery all the time.
That small valley just outside Jerusalem. You might also be surprised to find that out of
like
the
you want
whole
some scenery, let's talk
Testament,
about what you're.
there's not one mention
You
of
can
eternal torment. In fact, the idea and concept
show what he's
is
talking about.
nowhere
Should have
to be
showed
found
that picture of
in the Old
Jerusalem.
Testament. It is only when Yeshua comes to teach that the word hell is seen.
So I don't
Now
know.
remember that Yeshua was a Jew.
Yeah, we all got different ideas. Some people just show their mugshot. Well, I don't need to. You don't need to see my mugshot. You want to see my mugshot? Okay. Okay, here we'll do a little twist here. Okay. There I am. Okay. Just an old senior Canadian. Bright lights bother me lots. So, wear my hat. Get a little sun on my head now. Okay, there's why I am, okay? Do you need to look at me all day long? Toothless old fart. I only lost 2 of my dentures, okay? Don't have sugar in your coffee when you're driving truck. Yeah. Go out driving again. I had sugar on my teeth all night. 2 years of doing that, my teeth were history. Not a good idea.
Which is trillions and trillions and trillions of years and does not have an end.
Others get killed in the trucking.
What Hitler did was the
Not much worried about that in northern Ontario.
The church teaches is worse than a trillion Hitlers.
It's a trail.
The teaching of eternal torment by the all-loving Creator is also blasphemy and will never be forgiven.
Looks like Grand Canyon.
All manner of sin and
so I don't know,
blasphemy shall be
fellow
forgiven
American
men,
maybe?
but the blasphemy against the Holy Spirit, who is Yahweh, shall not be forgiven.
Lots of nice scenery.
Men, neither in this world or in the worlds to come. Now the passage in Matthew 12 is an account of Yeshua using the power of Yahweh, the Holy Spirit, to cast out a demon from a man who was possessed. Now, when the religious people and the Pharisees saw that Yeshua did that, they said
Okay, I'm
that
gonna
Yeshua
shut
did it
this
with the
down.
power of the
Okay, let's go back to something else I saw a little bit. Because I think you get the drift here. Okay. I'm Canadian. Drift. Snow again, huh? Okay, let's go back here to what was I looking before. Oh, gee. Maybe that's this one here. No, that's that one. Okay, new tab. Here, with this one here. Okay. Here's an interesting one. Who are we looking at there? Mr. Gates. Okay. This fella is, what's his name? Give him credit for what he's doing here. The Jimmy Dore show. Okay. Yeah. It's a little blurb from there. And my wife actually has got problems maybe with this. I don't know. She had different issues over the years. Lost her, almost died several years ago, 20-some years ago. 6 months after I met her in Hong Kong. Got from Hong Kong finally here. Filipino. Anyway, lost a third of her bowels. Yeah, we had problems. Okay. In and out of the hospitals all the time. Maybe she got bit by this tick Lyme business too. We don't know. Okay. But now she's allergic to red meat.
450,000 Americans have red meat allergies from alpha-gal syndrome. That's a real thing. Alpha-gal syndrome?
Wow.
Caused by tick bites. Did Bill Gates do?
They're saying they biologically to reduce the consumption of red meat. Hey, boy, oh boy, when we get to the idea that we can somehow force people to change. No. Jesus, Yeshua calls us. See? And that's where that torment, fear grips, causes us religious bondage. And you can more easily manipulate the people. Why? We're taught to stay in the boat. The ark is sinking. Ark in context with Lot. Lot had to leave. They both died after their events. They both need resurrected. Okay? Like we can go through different things here, but we all have different views. But what is the truth? Jesus said he is the way, the truth. Okay? He said choose life or death. Okay? Choose. Truth creates freedom, allows liberty, the God-given right to choose. Okay? Well, see, they want to force people into what they believe is the correct thing to do. This is not correct. That's not of God. How many religions are doing this? Some might actually even teach that there's no eternal consequences, JWs and stuff. They come out of Romanism into that, but they just left one boat and got into the other boat. My wife left that boat of Romanism, went into the Hebrew boat now, and the guy's still believing Orthodox stuff. Was an ecumenical conference in Ottawa, Canada. Who paid that bill? And he's with people, now they're talking about all these stories about people coming back from the dead. Well, what did Jesus say? You're not going to believe him anyway. Okay? You know? I said to the one Lutheran guy one time, he says, finger dipped in water is actually going to quench a fiery thirst? No. He's not saying it is that way. He said, it's an illustration. Even if it was, you still wouldn't believe, because you won't believe his written word. You won't believe the prophets. You find excuses why not to believe. You're not going to believe somebody even if they say they come back from the dead. Okay? No. That's another text, another topic too. We should look at it. Put this to the side. Okay? My organized office here. Here, I covered that the other day with airplanes, the crash in San Diego. Haven't heard anything more updated. Stepson didn't call me back. He's actually up fixing the power line. So yeah, I do believe it hit the power line. But why was the altimeter was possibly set wrong? Because the weather signal unit sends out the unit. I dig around in these things. He maketh the storm to calm. Hey, he's fulfilling the prophetic word about him doing this. Okay? He turned rivers into living waters. Yes, there's live freshwater fish in the sinkholes and the Dead Sea. Zechariah 14 is happening right now. Not in the future. Now. That's how they're surviving in Gaza. Underground. Okay, what was I going to go to? Get sidetracked here a little bit. That's how I go down rabbit trails. Well, sometimes go down the rabbit trail, find the rabbit hole, and dig. You're not going to find the nuggets of gold and just laying it around on the top. Okay. Isaiah 66. There's a topic to have. Okay. One day a nation shall be formed. Okay. But what I'm going to say, Lutheran chaplain, I was staying at him and his wife's house one time. That was before my Filipino wife. Okay. In between my two marriages. One wife at a time. Hey, guys? Jacob's trouble, he had two wives. He was 77 when he married Leah. Left 7 years later with Joseph and both wives. Okay? So subtract 7 off of 84. You got 77. How old is Israel this May this year? 77. I think he's trying to tell us something. Anyway, Isaiah 66. Lutheran study. Through the seminary, everything else. I said, no. There's another whole chapter. So you better get your Bible off the shelf. He looked. He was totally shocked. Through the seminary, and he didn't realize there's another whole chapter. Why? Hey, here's a section here. It's being prophetic, by the way. Has not yet happened. Okay? And sanctify themselves. Oh, we think every word we say out of our mouth sanctifies the food we eat? No, it doesn't. Sanctified by his word. Okay? Got behind a garden. What happened in the garden? Eating one's in the midst. Okay? What happened? They think they could do whatever they want. What do? Eating swine's flesh. Hey, there's a good debatable topic. But no, I don't blame an abomination. But that's not the abomination. It causes love to wax cold. It's covetousness that causes true love to wax cold. Matthew 24, 12 to 15. See, we pluck a verse out and build a whole doctrine around something. Isaiah stated precept upon precept and line upon line. Precept is a little bit different than line upon line. You want 2 or 3 verses to back up things, like in a courtroom. But precept is, it's appointed unto man once to die. Revelation 20, the second death is warned of. They resurrected Lazarus, so the other people got resurrected. Don't say just one resurrection. But then they turn around and say, oh, of course Lazarus died again. Where do you find that? No, it doesn't say that. It's pointed out a man wants to die. And we're actually promised that some will not die. The rapture. But what happened during Pentecost? Many resurrected. I go back and forth to this because we're not taught this. Why? How can we understand the present and we don't understand the past? This happened, and the graves opened, and many bodies which slept arose. They try to explain this away. Came out of the graves, okay, and went into the holy city. They say they came, rolled out and rolled down the street. Jerusalem is in the hilltop. They rolled up the hill? Come on. This is so twisted. Well, I was going to go in Matthew 22. You can go 24. Love of many shall wax cold. Wax cold. All the new versions take that out. Don't have, just grow cold. And then they turn around and say this is all in the future. Really? Some sort of dietary thing on a future third temple. Well, I saw the hologram too. No wall to touch at Shiloh, Israel. The only time I was there. Other people go there how many times and what? Do they have eyes to see? I don't know what they're looking at. But many are called, but few are chosen. Okay, well, maybe heard that. Maybe around. But cast into outer darkness. I really was wondering about this. Well, outer darkness is where? Well, we maybe call it outer space. It's terminology. Outer darkness. We call it space now. There shall be weeping. Okay. People weeping. Is that in some sort of hellfire? No. We're dead. We're dead. You know, unless you're the beast and the false prophet thrown into the lake of fire, I wouldn't worry about it. Okay? Like, take things out of context. And gnashing of teeth. Gnashing of teeth. They're angry. Okay? Angry at who? We're angry at those that told them what, but somehow they're cast out of where? It's talking about what? This marriage. Many as you shall bid to the marriage, both glad and bad. When the king came, he saw there which had on the wedding did not have a wedding garment. We better have not some man-made baptism. And that's coming up in Chesmer. 1,400 rebaptized adults. Yeah, it wasn't just one baptism. How many times is Solomon baptized? Well, that doesn't state the exact number. How many wives did he have? Lots. They went through the mikveh tank every time. One baptism. Okay? And saw the guests he saw there. Didn't have the right wedding garment on. And he binds them and takes them and casts them to outer darkness. Are people actually going to be at the third heaven marriage supper and cast out? Jesus said even if they go back from heaven, they won't believe him. Anyway, so no, it doesn't matter. Cast them back to the earth. Like, I struggle with some of these things myself, these thoughts, but for many are called, but few are chosen. Maybe Enoch had to be counted worthy. The great multitude, Revelation 7 talks about 12 times 12, 144,000. I believe that already happened. Okay? That's Matthew 27. That's on the day called first fruits. It's in Revelation 14, verse 4. You want to go to it? But they're cast out. That's kind of a strange thought. You know, we're called. Are we chosen? The great multitude? Maybe they're mostly from the dead. Because we're warned not to be lukewarm. That's Revelation 11 where he sends the two witnesses. Why? Oh, most people are going to believe some UFO or something took them. Do you really think mainstream media and false teachers will teach us that something actually happened? I actually drove through a graveyard last fall because people were suggesting that maybe it already happened. I'm like, okay, let's go down the graveyard and see if anything's happened. Okay. No. Hey. We get to think that these fellows were so something like superhuman. They struggled with things. Jonah struggled with things, and he finally ended up over there in Nineveh anyway. Okay? The guy had to use a big fish. The guy gave his son static for using the word whale. Then he wonders why the T didn't want to sit in on the study with his dad. Right. Say one little word and you get reamed out. Okay? But the guy doesn't believe even Elijah went to the third heaven. Okay. Coming in the clouds of heaven. Eagles gather together. Okay, where do eagles gather? On the mountaintop. Okay. Just exactly where are we at in history? What was the April 8th 2024 solar eclipse all about? Oh yeah, and this fella in Hamilton, Ontario. Hey, call me. I call them sometimes. But he only has people on that agree with him. Okay. Here's my number again. 830. I read it down. I should have a marker pen. It's not working. No. 403-830-4124. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Mountain Standard Time. Yeah, guy tried to text me, I don't know what time last night. Please. Good thing I had the phone off. I said, office is from 9 till 9. Okay. Friend texts me at 5:30. And then he calls me. Then he gives me static. Probably drinking a little bit because he's not working. Feeling sorry for himself or whatever. Pumped me for some information what crowdfunding was because he knows I spend time finding out stuff. Okay, and then he tells me not to call him anymore. Okay. Well, you're the one that called me. Very what? I guess he's talking to his mom and dad. They're doing okay, and his sister now is okay. She was fighting cancer. During the lockdown, they weren't talking to any of them because they figured he should all take the jab too, but he didn't want to do that. So when he was going through one job after another, he'd call me. What? He's having fun with his friends this summertime, motorbiking around. Was going to come see me one day, but never showed up. Never called me. Nothing else. Why? Says he went and parked the bike. I went biking with somebody else. Meet some other motorbikers, and he's having a fun time. Okay. If they shall fall away unto repentance, seeing they crucify them. See, we get hooked in something, maybe even Mormonism. The second Adam. Hey. Then they have their spin around it. But we go from one boat to another. Peter had to get out of the boat. And what happened? He got dunked again. got rebaptized. Then he was bold. That's the power of the Holy Spirit. It'll be posted online here in a couple of days, what I watched yesterday. Okay? So, we'll, it's 10 a.m. here right now in Calgary, Alberta time. Yeah, it's the 25th of May. June 1st, Chestermere Lake. Just an oversized slough east of Calgary, Alberta. They have to trim the weeds down. We actually knew the Filipino guy. There's rocks in the lake. He tipped over on this little paddle-type canoe thing. Should have had a helmet on. Probably hit his head on a rock or something. Got tangled in the weeds. He never came up. His wife and kid watched her own father drown. Okay, no lifeguards. Baptism there, June the 1st, east side of the lake, on the far south side of the town. Yeah, you should check with this Messianic best Shekinah town here. Hopefully the guy from Lethbridge will be up. We disagreed one time. Oh, he hit the roof right in a restaurant over the tithe business. Oh boy, that's a touchy topic with them. That's their paycheck. Okay, they're actually hirelings, but he leans more toward evangelism. Got kicked out of Israel, him and his wife, for evangelizing. He was running a construction company. Yeah, hey, you're a Jew, you stay on your side. No-eyed law, Romanism. And they start mingling together, start learning from each other. Oh, you got another war happening in Ukraine. What do you think these things are all about? Okay? I think it's just... And Babylon, the economic system, is all intertwined. Hey, we tend to separate the one from the... It's all intertwined. Don't... Calls to remnants of farmers stay eliminated a great flight of affliction. Okay? Here, if we sin willfully after we receive the truth. Why? We're actually making a mockery of the power of God to help us through. That's baptism. Repent. Turn back. Turn to the truth. Go forward. Get rebaptized. Have the power of the Holy Spirit. One guy is teaching. He has something like me. Has even more whiskers. Figures we're already sanctified. Really? Then what do we need to study for? No, it's his power that changes us. When he shows us, looking in the mirror, shows us we need cleansing, we ask him, his power, to change, to transform, to sanctify us. Okay? It's not of ourselves. It's not psychology. It's not of our own self-will. This light bulb does not light itself up. It needs to be plugged in. What are we being taught? Like, come on. I saw the Swiss Guard at the Vatican game, their fancy hats and stuff. How come they're there? Because Napoleon took two of the popes captive. Revelation 13. Yeah. But the Adventists, they got major problems. They're going probably through another split. Hey, they had a major split in 1948, like a lot of groups. It sounded not too bad prior to that, this replacement theology. All of a sudden you're dealing with Israel as a nation again. Hey, like it or not, they're there. Gaza? Isaiah 29. This Ravi Singer guy? He only debates people that he's comfortable debating. It's all a big spin. Does he deny the state of Israel? Well, then Isaiah 29, what does it say? Ariel. Cast not away, therefore, your confidence, which is great repentance. For you need a patience. After you've done the will of God, you might receive the promise. What do the Pentecostals say? Oh, just say some magic words. No. Boosting of another vehicle, you got to have your battery charged up too. Baptism. Laying on hands can transfer some power if you got some power left. Okay? Divine healing? Hey, if we walk in his ways after we've done his will. Hey, he may divinely intervene, yeah. And just because my youngest kid walked at 1 year old when the doctor said he wouldn't, doesn't mean if he's a preacher that everything he says is some divine revelation just because he was healed as a kid. Like what? What are these preachers teaching? I was going to go to Psalms 90. Matthew 24. Oh, no man knows the exact hour of day. Hey, that was before he ascended. You know? Beware what's going on. Isaiah 29. Isaiah 29. There we go. Sometimes I just go back and forth. I like sitting with people, and pastors get all off kilter because they want to go point by point in their little rehearsed thing. They don't like it when people question. Hey, I like that. Why? Because I'm not called to be a pastor. Okay? Everybody's called to evangelize? Yeah, somewhat. But Elijah mentored Eliza. It's a mentorship. Woe to Ariel. Ariel who? Well, happens to say in verse 10, okay, hath poured upon you spirit of deep sleep. He'll be resurrected, but he was in a coma for 8 years. 8 is the number completion. I wasn't 100% sure. I had to dig. I had to find out. This happened in our lifetime, Mr. Ravi Singer. Are you going to deny this? So bring it up to speed. That's why Gaza, Amos 1, Zephaniah 2, Gaza's in the Bible. I talked to some police. They were totally shocked. They never heard this. Why? Because these Romanistic influenced people don't teach it. The one guy, seminary, doesn't even want to look at Zechariah 5. Gives the dimensions of the missiles being fired from Shinar, Iran. Weight of a talent of lead. It's not a paperweight flying through the air. There's my number again. Okay? I'm not hiding. Call me. We got another passport coming. I think we have to go pick them up. Because I guess my wife was concerned it might get stuck in the mail, so we have to go pick it up at the government office. Okay? All right, that's good. Lost my other passport because my driver's license, which I happened to pass the eye test in the morning, praise the Lord. Have to fight for my motorcycle license again. The one place I can rent a motorbike for about $300 Canadian, I can maybe get my motorcycle license back again. I'd like to have 3-wheeled spider bike. I think it's more, Australia's more hot, dry country, and they love them over there. That's where the main aftermarket is at. I want to make it more winterized so I can get through the mountain passes with it. Going to Arizona maybe, if I'm around this winter. Hey, what's going to happen this fall? I'm not 100% sure. If I step out the door, hey, more likely to have a bear or a mountain lion here in Calgary, more than a lion, okay? But it talks about that. You know, why? People make excuses why not to do something. You can always find some excuse why not to do something. Business, you can find always some excuse. I'm looking at renting. What's the German built tools? They got cordless tool, not Milwaukee. It's red. I forget the name of it. No, it'll come to me in a minute. I bought some on sale, super price. Princess Auto is similar to Harbor Freight. I'll be surprised if they're not connected together somehow. Princess Auto used to have the surplus after the war in Winnipeg, Manitoba. My uncle got me to help him drive there. Dad was shocked. We were gone all day. We went the 6-hour drive one way. Yorkton, Saskatchewan, the manufacturer there for the skid steer loaders now. Leon Equipment, little skid steer is called Ramrod. I just found out the other day is owned by an East Indian company now. Oh, built in Canada, is it? Oh, really? If they assemble it in Canada, that's something like a concrete pump. And Chinese parts, why? Chinese company in Canada. Made in Canada, really. On a Mexican truck. Assembled in Canada. Hey, what do you think Trump's so teed off about? Okay? Now they find out some of all this electronic gear. Hey, they could trigger it off. Remember Israel triggered off the little beepers all of a sudden they're exploding in their pockets, their faces. Look at that and it explodes right in your face. Yeah, they got stuff wired into the thing. Really. There's a Russian manufacturer here, took over Big Harvest Equipment. Okay, with a crate right next to it, labeled farm equipment. What's in the crate? 1 hour from the American border, Mr. American. Yeah, we got stuff in Canada here. We got major problems happening too. BC, are they about to take the military in like in Mexico if Canada doesn't get their act together? Okay? Oh, no. CBC. We nicknamed it Communist Broadcasting. Years ago, when I was a kid, that was a joke. Like what? It's so influenced by it's owned by a Crown Corporation. Now the other ones are basically bought off too. Rebel Media, Ezra Lamont. Yeah, I know him personally. I believe they found magnifying glasses up north at the fires. Why? The wild mushrooms grow a year or two after the fires. Why is it so dry? Hey, the Mexican volcano was going up. We're not told. It's around the world. Go home and check your smoke alarm. Norway made it photoelectric mandatory 3 years ago already. Yakima, Washington raised the bar, now the entire U.S. But the Alberta government, I've talked to them. City council. They know. But they just slough it off. Take 40 or 50 minutes to rescue a kid off the reservoir. Didn't even call the county, and they're ticked off. And if the boat's not busy on the Bow River in Calgary, Alberta here, people go kayaking and rubber rafting down there and they get into trouble, and so they got a boat to go out there. Well, they looked at a drone. Well, I can look online too. I actually have some small drones. A big egg drone, 100 kgs. That's over 200 pounds. I could probably pluck 2 of the kids out of the water in minutes. Yeah. Make it kind of robotic. You know you're going to have people hanging on a rope to service these big windmills. What do you figure? But you can go to school and the government gives the schooling how to train people how to do this. Really? Figure it out. It'll be a drone. Do you want to be around that blade if the wind comes up. Oh, hopefully they got it turned off. Hey, 144,000. Chapter 14, verse 4. There it is. First fruits. Okay, we're coming up to 45 minutes. And then I go over. I try to get at least about an hour. Mystery Babylon. Where is this? Oh, even the guy in Lethbridge is teaching that's out of Turkey, Pergamon or something's there, and he's teaching, well, gee, when did Muhammad come about? Okay? Paul said he already saw the man of sin being revealed. Okay, who was Simeon the sorcerer? Where did Peter and Paul die? Were killed. Oh, but it's all in the future yet. Really? You've got to have the so-called third temple. Really? What does Zechariah chapter 6 say? The branch. Oh, you read the other versions and you're like, well, yeah, I guess maybe that's what it says. Well, I don't know Hebrew that well. You want to read this one? My wife buys books after book after book and hardly even reads anything. She likes just watching movies. Doesn't like horror movies. She didn't grow up with movies. She has to get too scared. You can't watch them. Yeah, well, Daniel. How come Daniel is separate in this? Can you see this here? Yeah, I heard that the Orthodox Jews put in a separate section of their Torah away from the actually prophetic books. Why? It's too accurate. Oh, we don't want to read that. They don't like... See, it's separate from Isaiah. Why is that? It's all in different order. Okay? They don't like Isaiah 53. Try to explain it away as saying it was Israel. Really? Well, Israel's again a nation. Yeah, I guess apparently they never lasted longer than 80 years as a complete nation. Yeah, the northern tribes were taken. How many of the men were killed in the wars? Is that why Solomon was allowed so many wives? Well, maybe. Otherwise, they're going to be on the street with no, go live in the king's harem. I can have a kid or two, and maybe he'll actually appreciate me being around. I'll have food on my table for my kids. Hey, you want to live on the street instead? Hey, this happened, I guess, in Bolivia. Some estimates are somewhere around 70% of the men were killed. One guy, maybe practically royal family from Scandinavian country, Gustafsson. How many kids did he have? Well, hey, most wives won't put up with it, having more than one. How come Mr. Rabbi Zachariah, I don't know, did his wife, was she that naive to let her husband go by himself to these Asian countries? Where did Thailand or something? Like what? My wife said something about going to the Philippines. We got a house there. She didn't want to sell it. I should go with her mother there. I should go by myself. Really? She says she trusts me. I don't trust myself. Like, come on. I'm not totally dead yet. Okay? The little Filipino girl grew up with my wife practically 50 years difference with a guy flying around in a helicopter in Texas. She got a couple kids from him. There'd probably be a court case, so it was previously married. My dad was old enough to be my grandfather and outlive my mother. Okay? My one grandmother was my dad's age more. Hey, I'm almost the same age as, there's 20 years difference. My wife's about 10 years younger. Figure it out. My mother-in-law is only 10 years older than I am. Okay? People thought my grandmother was my dad's wife. Why? Because my mother was younger, but my mother didn't care. My uncle clued me in. Meet an old farmer down in Ontario to pick up a new car, save the freight, driving back to Saskatchewan. Where do you think some of the Ford dealerships in Saskatchewan got started? They rolled the rail down, got paid enough, if they saved the money, didn't gamble it away or whatever, to start a dealership. Drive the car out west, sell it when they need some cash. Okay? They're using horses more. Roads weren't that good. But the people, the old Model Ts and stuff actually worked. Went through the mud pretty good. Better than the heavier cars. Okay, so then they sold it. And do it the next year again. Yeah. I think old Henry Ford had that figured out. How do we get dealerships? How do they prove how it's going to work? Well, get the young guy to buy a car. That was his marketing plan. Oh. Crank these things out. Just looked at another engine here. Nice little engine with rotary valve design. Going back to the 2 strokes, I believe. Hey, they were noisy, these GM Detroit engines. Screaming Jimmies, they called them. They had them in the buses. They had better mufflers on them and stuff. And it was like, check the fuel and add the oil. Flowered pieces of... But they worked. And kept working. In the Canadian cold, you could actually start them up. They had it on the Champion grader had come out. Yeah. You could hear the thing when it cleared the valley 5 miles away. Oh, the grader's turned around. It's coming back the other way now. Clearing the snow. We had so much snow. Yeah, we were told the mini ice age was coming when I was in school. Yeah. Why? Snowstorms? The big freight train got stuck east of Regina. They had to come into the city with school buses and pick anybody that wanted. We went and looked at it. These people thought, oh yeah, we got big freight trains now. It'll go through anything. Well, no, it didn't. You could practically drive a vehicle over top of the dirt was mixing with the snow. And lucky it didn't derail a train. Okay? So they had to take out the old rotary snow blowers, and they couldn't even hardly go through the stuff with the V-plows. It wasn't like loose snow. It had dirt mixed in it. You could drive over top of it. You hit some of these snowbanks, you didn't know whether you're going to go through or over top. Why? People give them a diploma and they think they're so smart. Urban planning. The girl didn't even know any. Then she says, oh, the teacher just said trucks are a lot of problem. What? You wonder why some of the things are designed the way they are. You got a diploma. Engineers, my own stepson laughed at me. At his own wedding. What am I going to say to him at his own wedding? Okay? His new father-in-law is sitting next to him, looked at him and said, you're electrical engineer, top of the class because he had the math in the Philippines. He's down where that plane crashed now. I knew about it before he knew. Really, our communication, but how much of is accurate? Resurrection unto life, and those that done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. See, they will be resurrected, but Revelation 20 warns about the second death. We're not taught much about that, are we? We're kind of taught that we're going to be tormented forever and ever. That's where I started with this YouTube. No. But don't go get hooked into another boat. The ark is sinking. Okay? Yeah, the Adventists are having a major split. Don't think I don't know. I was at their seminary. I had to walk away from their nonsense. Okay? Dave Hunt wrote some books, Seduction and Christianity and Beyond Seduction. Amazingly, I got a car fixed on the road going to Winnipeg, Manitoba. He was only there once. I saw the black robes come in, take him in a private room. He wasn't there the next year at the big Pentecostal in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Seduction and Christianity and Beyond Seduction. Well, his other book that the guy gave me at the bookstore, he had it in the back room. He was so harassed by his own Christian community, he took it off the shelf. Psycho-Heresy by Bodkin. You can look it up online, some of these things. Psycho-Heresy by Bodkin. But the psychologist had heard about it. He doesn't want to read it. But they put him behind the pulpit. Oh, he's got a degree. Who always brings this magazine? Focus on the Family. Oh, that sounds so nice, doesn't it? Of course yeah. Well, let's get a camp meeting. And we'll decide what the majority decides what we should do. Really? When was the majority ever right? My one uncle was mayor, outlived my parents. We discussed some of these things. I don't think he knew why my dad did what he did the one time. Sold the cattle, tore up the grassland, seeded everything corner to where. Because the government wanted paying people to not grow wheat in Saskatchewan. The wheat market was down. Okay. Well, old colony guy one time told me, you figure out what you're planting, but you put what's in the ground as cheap, hoping the price. You don't chase the price. Everybody chases the price, and all of a sudden the price goes down. I saw that with fall rye. When the American fall rye harvest starts coming up, the prices go into the toilet. Hey, I did some very unique things. Burnt the things down with liquid fertilizer so you don't have a bunch of straw. It came back even stronger, all stooled out. Cut it grass green. People thought, what the heck is he doing? Jammed it through the grain dryer and I got it on the previous crop year. Hit the top of the market. Okay, why? It's only a week or two later the prices went into the toilet. Okay? Do the opposite of what the majority of people are doing. Well, what do we do? Oh, Canadians tend to be different that way. I got cousins in Kansas. My grandmother's sister was there from the Ukraine. Some of the biggest feedlots in the U.S. Where are they? I've lost track of them since my grandmother died. They were into stuff like that. I don't know what they're doing now. The one guy teaching school didn't even know we don't have an elected Senate. No. Mr. American, do you know that? And Canadians are listening to what? Communist broadcasting? The one native guy said, if our chiefs up want to side with CBC and these mainstream media in Quebec, that's their choice. They were never one tribe. And the pipeline through Quebec, what do we even need a pipeline through Northern Ontario for? Well, it's already down into Ohio. That's not far from the East Coast. The pipeline already goes from Manitoba to Houston, Texas. They want to increase the capacity on an angle, the Keystone Pipeline. The pipe is sitting there, waiting to go in. Okay? Biden ended it. I know the truckers that were hauling it. Come on. Hopefully they doesn't deteriorate too much just sitting there. They got the ends closed off or something and protect the pipe until it goes in the ground. I don't know. I don't have all answers, but it's not what we know, it's who we know. Here. 1611. Go watch this guy. King James, I think it's Truth for Christ. He's got a teaching there on Acts 16:11. Look it up. Okay, I don't know how to all ask my wife to do that. She's in the digital stuff. She wasn't even sure how to do all this stuff. Acts 16:11. There we go. Therefore, loosing from, okay, this is in Turkey, location, came with a straight course, okay, go forward, okay, to, I think this is the island that they use for navigation, is 1,611 meters high. They didn't even use meters then. These numbers were kind of taught, oh, they're just putting in random. Really? And the next day to Neapolis, which is in Greece. Well, you want to go on the globe? See where it goes from there? Hey, let's get the globe down and have a look at it. Yeah. And no, it's not totally round. Because the shortest route from London, England to Canada is not. It's called over the top. It didn't have enough fuel to go straight across. But it's the same distance on her. But it's shorter because it's not totally round, but it's not flat, so don't go to the other extreme. Okay, and okay, Turkey. Where are we here? See, it's pretty compact here. It's you go from Turkey. There's an island there for navigation. It's 1600 to Greece. So you go straight across there. And keep going straight. What do you come out at? London, England. What happened in 1611? The King James Bible. And because the UK happened to be domineering, Spain had the Spanish Armada, got destroyed. France, one time, was even controlled by Britain. European problems. It went around the world. Navigation, aviation, electronics now. Around the world. Okay? What? He didn't want it. He went there. But then you go over the top, navigation, and it's on a curl. I put this on Google, and where does it come out at? Toronto? Going to Cairo, Illinois, where the solar eclipse occurred in 1811 and again in 2024. Hey, he knows the beginning from the end. Where are we at in history? Come on. Bring it up to speed. 7 candles on the menorah. Where are we at? How come he waited 2 days to even go to Lazarus? It probably took days to get the information. Took 2 days back. He resurrected him on the 4th day. Why 2 days to even go? It's like a day is 1,000 years. How many? You can figure it out. 1,000, 2,000. Where are we at? And something happens between 7 years. Nah, we don't need the third temple. You want to read it? See, people just listen to stuff pumped out. I was asked about the Pope one time at the famous little restaurant Tim Hortons in Canada. I caught all it in Buffalo, New York, because Tim Horton was a hockey player down there one time too. That's why they used his name. The Abomination. Do some math here. 1,290 days. Mentions the time. Subtract the time of the temple. What do you got? 1220. What happened then? Julian calendar just happened to happen. Just happened to happen. Really? Daniel chapter 7. Wear out the saints. Thing to change times and laws. The Seventh-day Adventists teach a little bit about that, but they try to fix this number into their human mistake of 1844. And they're still stuck with pagan Christmas and Easter. I think they sent the lady on a ship to Australia. Yeah, they didn't want to deal with that. So hey, some of the things she said was just to the best of her understanding. I was at seminary learning this stuff by my own. But what do they want to do? Put them up on a pedestal. There's some sort of god. Armstrong. It all fell apart after Herb was gone. His own son had it falling apart with his own father. Hey, we're to obey our parents when we're children. But Pharaoh's daughter was one of the strangers that left with him. Wow, how come we're not taught this? Okay. And we're supposed to bow our knee to, and they think the people are their sheep? No. You don't have 99 sheep and go out looking for the one without having somebody there to look after the others. And he's the sheep gate. Put the two parables together. What are we taught? It's their sheep? No. Peter was told to feed the sheep. Here. Goes around and around and around. It's not totally round, but it's not totally flat. The volcano stayed in southern hemisphere. Here, it was flooding around the coastal areas. But Australia had record crop yields. Why? How come the price of grain dropped? We're told because of the Ukraine war, this little country over here, okay, is going to have a shortage of grain. Well, how come the price of grain is down? Hey, Mr. American farmer, what's the price of grain down there now? Hey, I knew ones that tried to get the grain into the U.S. The price is better. Exchange rate. You actually think they took their new grain truck to the border to see? No, they pushed it. They took the old truck down there. Maybe they would have checked the plates out. Maybe, you know what farmers do. Yeah, take the plate off the new one, throw it on so you can use it a little bit during harvest. It was the old trucks that were seized at the border trying to get the grain across to the border. Mainstream media just spins it their way. Okay, they dragged the planes from Sweetgrass, Montana, I think, over the border with horses. The border guys just looked the other way. That's why the training fields are at Vulcan, Alberta, and Claresholm, Alberta. They trained the people and then fueled them up and flew them to England over the top. They didn't have enough fuel to go straight across. They had to land. And Greenland, Iceland, volcano erupted. Why? The flight's even now because they go this way. They don't go this way. It's actually shorter this way. In Greenland, how come there's Greenlanders there with kinky hair and more darker complexion? Afro-American fathers and grandfathers. Oh, they're part American. Like, we travel around the world, but people won't admit to having kids in another country. Yeah, guy's down in Panama now. He likes the bars, likes to have a good time. Okay, how many kids you got? I don't have any kids that he'll admit. Is that why he doesn't want to go to Costa Rica anymore? The brothers find him there. He might be in big trouble. Here, Ezekiel 34. Prophesy against the shepherds of Israel that feed upon the sheep and did not feed the sheep. The parable of the talents. They're reaping what they have not sown. That's why when they teach it, it doesn't really make as much sense as it should. Because they're actually speaking about themselves. A farmer doesn't get to reap. You don't reap somebody else's crop unless you're a custom harvester. I did this in the U.S. Met the largest farmer in South Dakota. Had coveralls on. Didn't even know he was a farmer. Just gonna take us out to the farm. Okay? It's Pierre, South Dakota. Yeah, I've been down there. My ex-brother-in-law did it years before I left the farm. Well, I know how to, but I had health problems. Okay? Did the guy even fix the air conditioning on the grain cart? Oh my goodness, was it hot. And the guy in Pierre let me go sit in the shade, and the guy was starting to give me static that I was working for, and he practically told him, I'm about to call an ambulance, I'll check on him in a few minutes, okay? And if you don't like it, you can take your machines and leave. He was the owner of the farm. He didn't just slough it off. Some of these owners, the managers, just all they're doing is nickel and diming around. One guy died from carbon monoxide with the owner, Burnco. He's got 12 plants in Colorado now. I met Scott Burns. Took personal responsibility for losing a young contractor. Carbon monoxide builds up in your blood system from inside pores. Told him the tester should be at his shoulder. He said, I'll talk to the management about it at the plant. He didn't just slough it off. Personal responsibility for the situation. How many of them just slough it off? It's not my problem. It's not my kid. I don't worry about it. The love is waxing cold. Okay. What was I going to look up now? Anyway. See, it's over an hour now. Anyway. 403-830-4124. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Mountain Standard Time. Okay. Things around the globe. Okay. We can fly around. How fast? We'll hear some more about that plane crash in San Diego from my stepson maybe today or something. I don't know. We were just down there last fall. I know. Kenworth dealership down there and the one near the interstate. There's a nice little Chinese buffet near there. I have Filipino desserts. We'll go there. You think I'm BSing you? No. These gurus roaming around on other people's dime, much like the tax. These politicians, when the politician says about business should have showed more appreciation, I said, after they won awards at the Farm Progress Show, he says, oh, that's how it works. You got to pad their pocket. My stepson paid for his Porsche car. How? I told him Trudeau, Prime Minister at the time, and other politicians are padding their pockets. I said, you make sure what you're going to put your money into. Then he got hooked. I said, how come Arthur Stewart and Conrad Black did jail time? Jim Staley, there I thought his name, from Missouri. Where was the rest of them in the financial service? They made an example out of him. Hey, if people would have made money, there wouldn't have been a problem. They lost money. Now we got a problem. We got to blame somebody else. Well, Trump, like him or not, pardoned him when he was in the first term. The guy was in jail. But I used to watch him more, but now he's gone this Joel Richardson route of post-trib business. Hey, we go from one extreme to the next, don't we? A lot of Americans are pre-trib. Well, tell that to somebody else in another country that has lost a lot of their family from persecution, severe martyrdom. It's happening right now in the Congo and in borders. Mainstream media is not telling us little border disputes. Hey, what is the real deal here? What is the real truth? Living waters from Jerusalem. This is happening. There's live freshwater fish in the sinkholes of the Dead Sea. What? Yeah, maybe the guy in the kayak actually put him in there. He's a tourist guy. We stock lakes for more tourism, but some of the fish can go right through the bird. It has to be fertilized by the male before the female is eaten. Okay, do you get it? Can go right through the bird. That's how they get into high mountain lakes. Okay, the salmon swim up the stream. Okay. Half of the city ravaged. That's the north half. What's the difference between the north and the south? Jerusalem is more of a religious center. Tel Aviv is party town. Where do they have more abortions at? Figure it out. Half ravished. Go into captivity. Right? On and on. Here, 2 parts, pardon me. 2 parts there, and shall be the third shall left. How many abortions in Tel Aviv? He knew us in the womb. How many abortions in Tel Aviv since 1948? Very secular society now, but I did not see when anybody even suntanning on top of a rooftop. You could see some of the rooftops. You see little solar panels, little water barrels, an odd piece of laundry out there drying in the wind. No, didn't see one person. What was Bathsheba doing up there? Hey, my ex-father-in-law was younger than his wife, my ex-mother-in-law. Okay? He made some statement one time, some hot little numbered girl went after the preacher fellow. He said, well, somebody like her comes after you. Most guys are going to be in a big problem. What happened with David and Bathsheba? What happened to him himself? Big, tall, Scandinavian guy. And the mother's, I think there was maybe a little bit of cougar country. She took a liking to him, and hey, and she ran the show too, big time. She ripped a strip off my ex-father-in-law one time. I just like, whoa, right in front of his friends. Wonder why he never said much when his wife was around, my ex-mother-in-law. My ex-brother-in-law knows full well what the sister is about. I should have realized what it's about. Okay? Talent of lead. Zechariah chapters. This is, it says 6. Says 6 starts over there. No, it's not a flying paper roll. Gives some dimensions here. Happens to be the size of the dimensions of the missiles on the museum piece in New York Harbor. Yeah, and I saw the aircraft carrier with the little moon capsule. I don't even know how they got into the thing. I'm looking figured out how thick. Right. The rumor was in the Soviet bloc was the dog had died from the radiation belt. I'm trying to figure this out. My wife is busy watching the ship fight in the Filipino War. Okay? Yeah, pictures about it there. How come that one museum piece is still left in Pearl Harbor? What do they have in a military harbor? Russia has it probably too. The ships are attacked. They go sink. It's shallow. It's a harbor. They put cables around and they got winches there and they winch them up and fix them up and put them back to sea. Within how long was most of the ships at Pearl Harbor put back to sea? How come the aircraft carriers had already pulled out a couple of days ahead of that? They knew the Japanese were coming. They didn't know maybe the exact hour or day. U.S. Admiral one time said a plane would never sink a battleship. Like, hello. Now you have little drones attacking battleships. Little underground, little surface units sinking battleships. Like, I told people these remote controlled stuff is going to play big time in the war in the Ukraine. Well, figure it out. But it's a huge business opportunity for young people. Hey, Mr. Canadian, you watching some of this? Don't know what to do? The guy just down the street told me he's got some builders owing him money. What's happening with real estate prices in Alberta here? Most people have financed up to their eyeballs. The place we stay in, I don't know if you guys came down taking pictures here one day to trying to get some more reverse mortgage because he was behind in his mortgage payments already. All of a sudden, the SUV gets stolen. Well, I don't think that was deliberate, but who knows? He got paid. Bought another used SUV, and it's sitting on the driveway yet. It hasn't got plated on it. Hopefully it's good enough to fix that. What is it? Volkswagen Audi. Yeah, he fixed these German things. Anything newer than '07, I think, is going to cost you a fortune, maybe. Yeah. Hey, the old Mercedes, hey, they ran and they ran and they ran, these old diesels. I knew some people had that. It just ran and they ran and they ran. My dad made me take the 59 El Camino back to the farm. Oh boy, I saw it sitting behind the one shed. I got it home. A 59 El Camino, you know, with the wings? Dad didn't like old equipment. I should have talked to my one uncle. He says, we would have parked it at his place. Okay. Wow. I had some collector cars. Okay. Dad didn't like old stuff around. Okay. My other uncles were involved with politics. Dad, he was more the... Maybe that's why he ended up on the home farm yet. Maybe the other boys couldn't tolerate my grandma so much reading the Bible all the time. I know my cousins made remarks about that. You know, my younger grandmother ended up looking after my older grandmother. She'd lost her leg at 90-some years old, left about another 10 years anyway. Yeah, but there was a whole generation difference there. There should be no flesh shaved, the lex say shall be shortened. Yeah. Do some prayer fasting about this. Why would he cut the time short that no flesh would be saved? Well, if we're already immortal after we're resurrected, what's the deal? Well, there shall be some mortals left to repopulate the planet. And no, the angels were told not to. The rebellious ones did. That's the fallen. Will be immortal. It's God that spirit upon Mary, okay, will be as the angels, obeying God. No, we won't have carnal desires. Branch putteth forth his leaves. What's happened? How many harvests does the fig tree have? I just learned this lately. 3. Well, the one has already happened. That's Pentecost. When's the next harvest? It's in the fall. It's called the Feast of Trumpets. When's the last one? Shortly after that, well, you got 3 feasts. They call it Yom Kippur or whatever. There was a war about that. And that's when they attack. They know, like the soldiers want some time off too. They blame the soldiers for not protecting them when they had a party outside on a high holiday, okay, with food. Hey, these leaders of Hamas are living like kings in another country. The kids practically had nothing to eat, and you got food outside the fence. And I know for a fact that the red heifers were ticking them off. Okay? Like all this Orthodox ideas. I didn't go to the Wailing Wall. Stick a piece of paper in the wall. The guy made a comment yesterday about that. Oh, isn't that great? Every time he goes there, how many times is this? Do you watch people stick a piece of paper in a crack in the wall? It's probably the wall from the old Roman fortress even. Okay? The curtain was torn from top to bottom. We can go to the Father in the name of Jesus, Yeshua. You want me to preach it? Yeah, I can preach it. Right in front of the Catholic Church years ago. The police went through my bag looking at them. Yeah, and they listened too. Right in front of the big Catholic cathedral in the town square. Just walked over the border, driving truck. The Spirit of the living God can come upon us to the point that what? The colony was shocked. I looked. What? I was repeating what the pastor had said in German Yiddish. I don't understand German that well. I was repeating exactly what he was saying, had said. Yeah, Spirit of the living God. My mother encountered it one time, 5 miles down a gravel town road to the town where my uncle was a mayor sometimes, and he wasn't a professional mayor. He just did. People begged him to run again. He turned the town around with his own money. Took over the small butcher shop and rented it, rent-to-own to the guy that was a butcher now in another town, had financial problems like a lot of us. The one banker knew full well. Spend a career with a bank he might get. He knew what the guy could make as a plumber, involved with Roto-Rooter. He went for lunch with the guy. The guy didn't have the good, squeaky, clean credit. My wife, she gets stuff in the mail. Hey, we can buy another car now. She got a $10,000 line of credit. Me? Canadian? Ah, no. Had to give security for her. It's like, this is, like, they'll forgive you for what? In Canada. Financial problem? It's a lifelong sentence. In-laws in New York, they moved up. My wife's sister lost everything in Florida. Went back to New York, and pretty soon they got a house and cars. And I said, well, how does this work? Oh, that's a different state. Hey, the American way. How many times did Colonel Sanders and Walt Disney go bankrupt? How many times did Trump? We don't understand that. Funnel the money to the Canadian casinos. Now it's clean money. Al Capone did jail in Alcatraz for that. But now the vice president could pardon Trump? Oh, that's a real quandrum, isn't it? But it's illegal money coming into Canada. Illegal activity happening here. No doubt about it. Is the American military about to march on BC for their fentanyl labs? Hey, it's a BC government. It's a federal police force. Most of the province, except Ontario, maybe Quebec, doesn't even have their own provincial police force. What's in the small towns? Some of them. Federal police force, municipal, provincial, and federal. And nothing got checked up into. What's the story about the Picton pig farm. Hey, I met a girl. She almost became part of the pig feed. She said there was an older brother or something that was the brains of the system. Never heard about that on the mainstream media, did we? Never heard that there was some of the police, federal police, RCMP. We make jokes about it. In French, it's called GRC. You know what that is? Gravel Road Cop. Saskatchewan one time had an issue. Went to a little town. Said there'd be 2 hours for a police response. Oh. Do we hear that on mainstream media? Hey, a lot of people in the country knows that it's a total joke. In the city here, we're just like, oh, we don't have a problem. But the Calgary police don't want to deal with the provincial sheriffs that they're starting up. Why? The ones that don't want to play games are maybe going to their side. Who do you think they're hiring? The police officer from the UK. He knows full well. Okay? Mentioned conspiracy theories when talking about stuff. But what? I looked at him and said, don't you remember building number 7 on BBC News, British, when you were a kid? He didn't say anything more. He knew. He remembered. We're bombarded with twisted information. How much of it's actually... You see it on the transit especially. Most people got their nose stuck. Okay? Hour and 30 minutes now. Okay? Time to sign off here. Up from the grave he rose, with a mighty triumph for his foes. He rose a victor from the dark domain, and he lives forever with his saints to reign. Yeah, the ambassadors are coming, Zechariah 14 with him. There's no resurrection monols, okay? Maybe from that song I kind of realized, you know, they sing other songs. The horse and the rider fell into the sea. Oh yeah, entire Egyptian army and horses drowned in 6 inches of water. You think God didn't know that we'd come up with these, trying to explain it, the Red Sea instead of the Red Sea? He knew. They sing songs. The horse and the rider fell into the sea. What do we do? We believe whatever. Oh, there's going to be a resurrection on all of us. No, there's not. Read it. He comes with his saints. The ambassador is already chosen. Okay? Maybe I learned it from the song. Okay? But some of these musicians, get them up on the stage and now they think they're the theologian too. Stick to their knitting. Okay? The guy in Hamilton. Do you hear me? Stick to your knitting, maybe. You're a music teacher. Okay? Think they're the theologian? Week after week, day after day, going through this count of the Omar. Hey, that already happened. Bring it up to speed. I was singing on the streets of Calgary the other day. Guy had a drum set. He was going to pack it up because it started spitting rain, but he played How Great Thou Art. He looked it up on YouTube. Elvis sang it. Got the mic and everything. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. People were waving, going by. Hey, some probably didn't like it. The one that don't like it, trying to sue the guy with the YouTube about Rapture all the time. He's too American. Okay, never says anything about his wife or anything, but he kind of mentioned this wife as him were concerned about this lawsuit. Ends up, they found a lawyer to take it on. It happens to be in a small town, and the guy happened to file the lawsuit in the wrong state. I take this. Okay, but I actually found out, oh, you're actually in Connecticut, are you? Okay. They hide it away. Guy's got a great big colored curtain behind with nothing on it. I wondered why. Guy this afternoon, I could go over there, but I'm going to go see maybe the Ethiopian guy. He's not working today. He'd prefer to have Saturday off, but is anybody going to pay his bills for him? No. I tried this. Worked for a 7-day Adventist. I didn't get a paycheck anyway. Would the pastor straighten anything out? No. No, they're happy. They got their donation. Okay, everything's good. Everything's good. The guy gets a tax deduction. Take by force or deception to his house. He should bless this? No, they don't want to discuss it. It's so twisted. But I'm supposed to, the guy had a teaching. I think the board members put him up to because they're supposed to send money to their denominational headquarters. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, they're teaching what and allowing what. Wonder why they're going through a split. Okay, a lot of them are just struggling Filipinos trying to raise kids and everything else, can hardly afford to pay the bills. And you're wanting more money out of them. Milking the sheep. You feed him milk and you try to milk them. Oracles of God. Well, they got a little bit, but come on. High annual Sabbath. That's what a Passover is. Not Good Friday with Sun Resurrection Day. Okay? But most people don't want to come out of the boat. Have a good night. Day. I gotta make some other things, do some other things here today too. Alright, have a good 403-830-4124, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. 8?